Hello and welcome to CLEA'S World. I am Clea, and today I would like to share with you more information I received from the 25th dimension during my last BQH Hypnosis session. I'll be reading from a transcript of the session, and I will be referring to Lorrayne, who's my practitioner, who is asking me questions that I've prepared in advance of the session. And I also will be referring to me, which means that I'm speaking of myself under hypnosis, and therefore the answers are coming from the 25th. All right, I'm going to start reading here, but before I do, I want to thank you, as always, for subscribing if you haven't already done so, liking and commenting on this video. It really makes me happy to see your comments. If you only knew. So if you get a chance, please do stop by and just say hi or whatever it is. I would love to hear what's going on with you. Or, we often talk about dreams and other stuff that's happening, crazy stuff that's happening in life. So I always want to hear what's going on in your corner of the world. All right, I'm going to jump in here. Okay, so the very first question is a question from Lorrayne about herself, because she has been having forever issues with her sinuses, and these issues are not getting any better. In fact, if anything, they're getting worse. And so she is frustrated, as I'm sure I would be if that was the case, with the fact that she, despite being so consciously aware and realizing that she's causing all of that, her higher self is always creating our reality. There are no outside forces shaping our reality. She's frustrated because as much as she intends for the sinuses issues to be resolved, this is not happening. So in this question, she's referring to something that the 25th told me when I asked about my cat's well-being. His name is Tommy. I'm sure you've seen him before in the videos. And so she's going from there, from what we're told in that instance, and she's asking, what's up with me? All right, so I'm going to read her question. In the area of intention, because I had a question about this, when Tommy was not feeling well, you told Clea that all she needed to do was intend him back to wellness and collaborate with his higher self to get him back to wellness. I've been setting intentions all the time for my wellness. I go to bed at night, I see my sinuses, my body feeling good. I see the stuff that makes me not feel good, particularly my sinuses. I intended to be gone and everything to be in balance. Am I missing something in the area of intention? Me. No, you're not missing anything. We already said what you're experiencing is your intention. And we already explained that your higher self is not interested in removing your sinuses. So while you are, when you experience yourself in this reality, you don't enjoy it. You, because it's you, your higher self is you really are not only you don't have a problem with this at the higher self level, because again, it's not life and death, but you also, it's part of you keeping the shell going. What would happen if tomorrow, basically, they were cleared, completely cleared, and you've had them for so long? What would happen from an emotional perspective? You might think, oh my gosh, I've wasted all these years. Oh my goodness, I thought I knew, I really knew, but I didn't. You really don't know emotionally how you would actually react to that. Now you think, you believe that you would be just elated, be like, oh, this is wonderful, done. But then you would be looking back. Then there would be a lot coming up with it, because your sinuses are such a big part of how you've shown up here, of this life experience you're having. And you already said it's part of the shell. You want the shell as much as your sinuses bother you. You want the shell of reality to continue. You want the ability when you go out to see people. It would be very strange if you were going to the supermarket or to the farmer's market you go to and there was not a soul. Imagine if you were to walk into a supermarket where there's no one. It's just you. It looks like a zombie movie. You wouldn't enjoy that. You think you're prepared for this kind of thing, but you wouldn't. You're not. We said this, not just you. You're extremely self-aware, but you're still human. You would not enjoy that. This is why we're keeping all of this going. Clea would not enjoy this. She's very well aware of it. She would feel like we're really here by ourselves. I mean, I want to be out of here because there's nobody else left. So we are keeping the shell going to protect ourselves. Your higher self is protecting your emotions as much as possible. And we're saying your body's emotions, really, you are your higher self. And so the sinus, as bothersome as it is, it has a function. We already know it's always had a function in steering your life in certain directions. And you think to yourself, yeah, okay, I've done what it wanted me to do, what it was leading me to. I'm done with it. Your higher self is not done with it. We've spoken about this before. You have to convince your higher self that there is value in something. The fact that it's bothering you is not a good enough reason for your higher self to let go of something that's protecting you. It's not just your body protecting you. We talked about this as well. Do you see how many layers? This is protecting you from realizing that this is not real. Like we say, becoming Neo, but imagine it looks so cool in the movie, in the Matrix movie, when you see Neo realizes he's seeing all these codes, but is it cool? Put yourself in the shoes of this person. Let's assume this is a real person in the movie, Neo, and all of a sudden you realize it's all numbers. What if we saw numbers around us? Would that actually be cool? Would that actually be fun? We don't want that. This will scare us to death. We go back to, we don't want anything to upset our reality. We are already extremely upset as it is. So do you think your higher self prioritizes your convenience or the fact that you would melt, you would disintegrate probably at an emotional level here if all the stuff was exposed for what it is? We're not just talking about the negative stuff, even the fact that this is all not real. We know it on a mental level. We know this, and we are learning little by little. We're learning to cope with it, with the fact that we know this. If we saw it stark, we saw it immediately, say tomorrow, you wake up and you see it, you see exactly what everything looks like, nobody's left, including your husband. You know this, you call people, there's nobody left. You can call Clea, you can call Carolyn, you can call a couple of other people, but there's nobody left, nobody else left. And then you have to stay here another 4 months because we said this is how long it's going to take for us to realize we're changing reality. We would want to die. It would be the most horrible thing we've ever experienced. We really don't want to make this life even worse than it has been here. So this is why this is not happening. There's nothing wrong with you. It's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's not that you don't believe enough. You always believe because you are so self-aware that you can do enough work. You can clear enough stuff to where you're going to obtain certain things. You are right now already obtaining what you want. And what you want is to keep this in place because your higher self needs for you to be calm as possible to stay in this game, as opposed to having the most horrible last few months here that you cannot even imagine. This is why we're doing this, why we are keeping the shell in place, because otherwise it'd be complete hell. We would take it as complete hell from a conscious perspective. Lorrayne. Okay, I grasp all of that. I think there are different levels of people with different personalities that would certainly have a much harder time with all of that. However, the sinus thing, which seems so insignificant on a big scale, but when I wake up or go to bed and I cannot breathe because my sinuses are so swollen, I literally have it choking me in my throat. So it's really uncomfortable. It's more than uncomfortable. It's impossible to function. So I'm considering surgery because there are times when it is bad. I have to take drugs that I do not want to take, that if we were going to exist here for several more years, taking these drugs would deteriorate this illusionary body to a point where it would fall apart. So this is not insignificant to me. I'm wondering if my little kitten, Marsic, has contributed and if I should do surgery, me. So we want to say a couple of things here. We completely understand, Lorrayne. When we say, we do not mean to say that it's insignificant. We said this many times. It is not that our 3D experience is insignificant for the higher self. The whole point of the higher self focusing here is to enjoy. Now, we haven't done much of that, but that was the whole purpose. So it is not insignificant how you feel. We've also even said there are people that are very much suffering right now here and decided to stay back, and they're still suffering where every day counts. They're like, is it tomorrow? Is it tomorrow? So we're not trying to minimize your experience at all. What we are trying to say is that it's not that the higher self is disinterested, is that the higher self truly, when it does a balance of things, a comparison of things, is protecting you, which is very different. It's protecting you from something that would be so much worse than what you're experiencing. So now you have the opportunity, you mentioned this. Well, we're going to say one other thing first. You mentioned Tommy. The reason why Tommy, quote unquote, healed so quickly when Clea intended it is because the only reason, you see, it wasn't Tommy's higher self that thought, I need to have this experience, my eye watering or my cough or my sneezing because I want to have a certain experience of reality, or because it needs to steer me in a certain direction, like has been the case with you, for example. The reason he was experiencing this is because his higher self, the goal of the higher self is to protect Clea. And so he believes, because they have this joint experience, he believes that he's here to protect Clea and to support her, which he very much does. So the moment that he realized Clea said, you don't need to protect me. This is perfectly fine. I've got this. I am an ascended master just like you are. In fact, I would be much happier if you didn't do this. Again, of course, it was his choice. If he thought that protecting Clea involved having teary eyes all the time, this would have kept going. Clea has no power over his higher self. But because it was not something that had to do with his own mission or how he saw the mission, it was just his way of clearing for the energy that was being circulated by Clea's higher self. This is why this happened. So the moment Clea said, yeah, you don't need to do that for me, done. It's a completely different situation from what you're going through. But we know why you brought it up, of course. It makes sense. So we'll say this now. You are now thinking, I could get surgery, because we understand what you're saying about the drugs, and they're definitely low vibrational products. And you are at the point, of course, because you want to keep this going, where you're going outside to 3D reality saying, we have solutions here. And so we would say, if you believe that the solution would work for you, for example, having surgery, then absolutely you should do that, because guess what? Whether it works or doesn't work in absolute terms, if you believe it's going to help you, it's going to help you. But you see, that's not breaking your idea of reality, of 3D reality, because you think now you got to go outside of yourself and do the surgery. Now, we know that you know that that's not the case, but you're saying that's a quick shortcut. That's a trigger, right? Where it would actually take care of my body. And so if you believe that, that might be a very good solution for you, and you resolve that situation without putting your higher self in the position, or yourself really in the position where you have to say to yourself, yeah, this is not real. I'm using numbers and codes to, just like in the Matrix movie we were mentioning, I'm using numbers and codes to do things so I can do spiritual surgery or energetic surgery. It's not really real. Do you see? So it's okay. Whatever you need to do, there's a reason we're keeping the shell in place. Use it to your advantage. You're seeing that the higher self is keeping you in the state of discomfort for a reason, so that we can believe in this. Then use this 3D reality to your advantage. You absolutely are right to think that. If you think they will help you because you see you just found a shortcut to get what you want without upsetting the goal of the higher self. So we understand the frustration. We understand you are saying, well, this is not a minor thing to me. And we never said it was a minor thing. What we are saying is that it's not life and death, as in, if now this was to end your life, your higher self would not go for that. It doesn't mean it would remove it, but it would reduce it to a point where you could still function. Because it's not your higher self's interest you passing on, because you're supposed to go to your earth and you're not leaving. Again, nobody's leaving until we're all living together. So we already know this. Nothing is going to happen to you. But at the same time, of course, you're very much experiencing in a very real manner for you all this discomfort. There is more than discomfort. It's probably anxiety inducing, especially if you feel like you're drowning, you're suffocating. We already know how bad this can be. It's something that we're aware of, but it's not because your higher self is not listening. You know this. You started by saying this. I very much know that it's me. So we know it's you, but sometimes we don't. Knowing something or making something happen in a way that it manifests in 3D implies other realizations, and we are not there yet. It's not just about you. It's about everybody. We are not there yet. We need this to continue a certain way. It would be too jarring. Now, I know you say it's different personalities, but it's not about personalities. You will also have a hard time on your earth when you get there, Lorrayne. I know you've done a lot of work, but you will also have a hard time. Doesn't mean you'll have as much of a hard time as many others. And again, they are no less than you. They just wanted to have a different experience here, and therefore they will have more to elaborate and integrate. But you will also have a hard time. Do not believe that you're going to be okay with everything once you get there, because you're going to have a hard time, an even harder time if that's what you're expecting. The truth is that we do very much. We were just speaking about emotions. We have very much strong emotions here based on certain limiting beliefs. And when that veil disappears completely, we'll still be left with our emotions. And it will be emotions related to the emotions we had here because we didn't understand. So it's going to be work you've never done before. And it will be so much to integrate. It will be overwhelming for everyone. Doesn't matter how advanced in your understanding you are. We're talking about a completely night and day situation from here. So we would say to you, do whatever it is that you think you have to do. Do not let yourself be frustrated. We understand what's going on. Do not think of your higher self as separate. We've all done this. We're not telling you what to do when we say do not. We would encourage you to remember, because we know you know this. Your higher self is not working against you ever. Your higher self is not disinterested in you because you are your higher self. What's happening to your body is not a second thought, an afterthought, like, but who cares? And so if you know that there's something that might make you feel better, do what you have to do. You cannot do anything wrong. Since we're keeping this 3D reality going, use it to your advantage if that's something that will make you feel better. Because we know that you're very much suffering from this situation and also from the frustration of knowing, I know better. Why am I not fixing this? We know this is what's going on with you. We know this is why you're frustrated. We know this is why you're angry. We can tell. You're not doing anything wrong, Lorrayne. There's nothing wrong, nothing more that you have to do. You could be sitting on your touche for 10 hours a day meditating. There's nothing more you can do. It's not about how much work you do. You've done plenty of work. You can intend this in a second. You've done it many times. Why is it not happening? That's the problem. It's not because you don't know what you're doing or because you fail to truly intend, because we know this is what you're thinking. I know, but clearly I don't know because I failed to manifest it. And then you go to, then this must be my higher self that really couldn't care less about what's happening here. And now you're going into separation. None of that is true, and you know this. And we understand the frustration, but here's the thing. Why did this idea of the surgery come to you then? Because perhaps that's the way of your higher self to resolve the situation without giving away the entire game. We would ask you to consider, remember, information comes to you, thoughts come to you at a certain time for a certain reason. Why did this pop up all of a sudden? Lorrayne. So I'm going to push you a little bit more on this because, you know, Clay and I like to get clarity. Surgery came to me because it's something I've done 17 times in my life. I don't want to do surgery. I'm tired of not being able to breathe. I'm tired of feeling like somebody has shoved a bag of peas up my nose. You said, you made the comment, and that's why I want to push on you. You made the comment that I could choose to go outside of myself or I could choose to go within myself. And yet you also just made the comment that you're aware that I've been doing all these things and stuff. I know it's possible to heal this. I'm at odds with the higher self, who clearly has decided this is going to keep Lorrayne contained in the game. Lorrayne is tired. So I hear everything you said. I absolutely know it to be true. I'm not considering surgery an external source, as it's merely a stopgap of hopium to get through this last period of this game. Me. Is there a question that you specifically would like us to comment on? Because we see what you're saying. We are aware of what you're saying. Lorrayne. I guess you had commented that I could go inside or outside, but clearly I don't know what really I could do on the inside to make this more tolerable. I don't need it to go away. I just need it to be more tolerable. So how does one do that going inward? Clearly I'm missing something. Me. So we would say, no, you're not missing anything. You think you're missing something because you're not seeing the reality you wish to see. We already said there is a reason why you're living through a certain reality. And of course, you're tired of it because you've lived in this reality a long time. You said you've had the surgery many times. You don't want to have to do the same things. When we say about going outside, of course, as you well know, there is no outside. We just say, since we're keeping the shell in place, we can continue pretending that some of the outside triggers, we can use these. They're all codes, as we've explained many times. So you can go to certain codes that you know will help you if you expect them, if you think they will help you. Because if you think they will help you, of course they will help you. Now, you are now bringing up that you've had the surgery many times and it clearly seems not to last. So this is further proof that your higher self is not interested necessarily in a certain type of reality. So is it because you're missing something? It's exactly what we refer to, is that you're upset because you're saying, my experience as Lorrayne is not what I want it to be, so I'm feeling this duality. I'm feeling this distance and the disconnect from my higher self. My higher self is not prioritizing this. We are not saying this is pleasant for you. We're not saying that this is not horrible for you. It very clearly sounds like a very heavy burden. And we know this is why you're so determined about resolving it. What we have tried to explain is that you are not at odds. And because of this, it will be very hard for you to change course. So what we're suggesting when we said, oh, you can go outside, of course, in this shell of a reality. So when we say you can go outside, we're saying it seems that your higher self has been okay with allowing this external reality to help you, because your higher self is not against the idea of you feeling better. We want to say that again, but it has to make sense in light of everything else that you're working on. So you say, you believe, and we completely understand why. I've done this. I've gone through this forever. I've had it. Nothing's going to change. I've done so much work. I'm capable of dealing with whatever it is that I'm being protected from. But we are telling you your higher self is unconvinced. So can you do more internal work in the sense of figuring out on your own why your higher self is, for example, what is your higher self protecting you from? We have given you clues, but you don't believe it. You say it's a personality thing. And so you believe you have the personality where you would take it all in stride. And so go to your higher self and ask, what are you protecting me from? Have it show you a couple of things and see how that goes. We are telling you, Claire has done a lot of work, and Claire has come a long way even since just last year. And we sent her one dream that had to do with a greater picture, what's been going on, that had to do with reptilians. Claire did not take well to that. She couldn't sleep the rest of the night, was very much agitated for a long time. Now, does it mean we couldn't send her another dream and do that again and eventually this becomes integrated? Of course. But Claire would be lying to herself if she said, oh, I could take this. She's very well aware of how she took that one. She's very well aware she couldn't see. She wouldn't be able, she doesn't want to deal with a lot of stuff right now in that respect. These are all things that are going to be as obvious to us, as visible to us as if we were there once we're on your earth. We cannot imagine that we can already handle the things that we will know. So the better question here is, what is your higher self wanting for you? There is no disconnect. I know you're angry because you feel the disconnect. Claire has felt it many times. We're not here criticizing any of it in any way. And we don't want to come across as being very nonchalant about this because it's your problem. We're not trying to say this. We said this many times. It is not true that the higher self is not interested in your physical experience. The question is, what is it protecting you from? Lorrayne, thank you for indulging me in this. I don't like to talk about my physical issues, and it's a challenge, but I hear you, and I will have a conversation with the higher self and see what it decides to reveal. As far as Marsic goes, which is her little cat, are the cats contributing to this challenge, and is he bringing me new codes? Me. Marsic came in for a reason. Marsic is also going to New Earth, and there aren't that many SSs left, so Marsic aligned with you. Interestingly, your husband brought you Marsic, even though he's gone, because really it's Marsic that made that happen. You made that happen. And no, he's not contributing unless you want to believe that he's contributing. The cats are not making any difference to your experience. Now, of course, it looks like it because that's how we see things, to where we believe we have to have an external trigger. Because again, remember, you're living between two realities. And while you're making everything happen, we also do live in a reality where a lot of things are real here. If Claire hits her head against the wall, she's going to hurt, okay? Even though the wall is not real. But at this level, even though she knows it's not real, she's still going to hurt herself if she bumps into it. This is the same situation that's happening for you with the cats. You believe in this reality. We believe that cats are allergenic. So if you're sensitive to it, you can sneeze, you cannot breathe right, you get a runny nose, watery eyes, whatever it is. But no, the cats are not doing anything to you. They have no way of doing anything to you. Lorrayne, thank you. This is what I'm choosing to believe. All right, I'm going to move on from me. We are always happy to discuss these things with you. We are all learning. Claire's learning. Everybody benefits from this. There's nothing wrong with you talking about your particular experience because everybody's experience is very similar in that sense. So this is all very value adding. We would like you to not feel like you are imposing. We always appreciate discussing things with you. So I thought this was a very sweet conversation, and I could totally see how Lorrayne is totally frustrated with her situation. I know I'm frustrated with sort of situations that persist in my life, even though they're not as dire as not being able to breathe on a continuous basis. So we're all trying to understand what's going on here. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know below if you're dealing with something that is persisting in your life and that frustrates you, makes you feel like, why is this still happening? So always love to hear what you guys are going through. All right, take care. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Good night.